What's up, everybody? It's your guy Brandon Stubbs here, former host of Punch the Face Radio, bringing you here some gambling tips. Now, before I start with the actual fight picks here for Garcia versus Davis, I have to say this disclaimer. This is for entertainment purposes only. This is not intended for those who are under the age of 21, those who have gambling problems. And make sure if you're placing bets, you're betting safely, you're betting on a legal site, and you're betting where it's permitted in your state. That's my nice way of saying that if you screw this up, you lose money, you do anything illegal. That's your problem, not mine. So don't come to me complaining about it here in the comments. That is your problem, not mine. We don't make your problems Brandon's problems. All right. So, repping the star as always. Go Cowboys. We don't bet on them for obvious reasons. But we're going to talk about some tips here in regards to this weekend's fight card for Tank Davis versus Hector Luis Garcia. Now, I'll openly say this. This time last week, I wasn't sure if we are going to actually get a fight, but hey, we're here fight week. Also was wondering how the issues of last week and the domestic violence charge for Tank Davis was going to affect him in regards to the weight cut. As we record this, he did make weight with no problem, 134, so he came in under the limit. So it looks like that didn't affect him at all. Does seem a little bit surly, which means angry, which could mean a couple of different things going into fight night. He could be a little bit overly aggressive. He could maybe walk himself into traps that Garcia could set, or he could just go for the kill and try to get this over with as quickly as possible. So that kind of puts me in a weird dilemma in regards to this fight pick, because I'm not exactly sure what we're going to see from Tank Davis on Saturday night. The guys on the other card I'll talk about in a little bit. I'm a little bit more settled on what versions of them we should see. But Tank, I don't know. Tank, I really don't know. And I don't know with his opponent, Garcia, who is moving up in weight. This one's a little bit touchy. So let me kind of break down some numbers here as I look here to my side, to my notes here. I'm old. I got to have notes. Now, these odds that I'm pulling, I pull from three major sports books here. BetMGM, FanDuel, DraftKings. Now, obviously, use whatever's in your area that you like the most, whichever gives you the best bang for your buck. Again, which ones are actually legal? Can't stress that part enough. Whichever sports sites are better than others, because some of the betting sites offer better odds. At least I'll kind of give you some tips in which direction to go, but you're going to want to find the best platform that works for you. None of these platforms are actually sponsoring me. They're more than welcome to. You're more than welcome to sponsor me here on the show in regards to what I'm doing here in regards to the bets. I'd love that. But they're not sponsoring me, so I really have no favoritism towards any of them. I'm just going to go say, whatever pays you the most, use that app. Now, with that being stated, let me go over these odds here in regards to this fight here for Saturday night. Now, Tank Davis is the overwhelming favorite, obviously, for obvious reasons. I mean, he's been knocking guys out and beating guys here and doing it in a pretty entertaining fashion and having entertaining fights. So, no surprise he is the favorite here. Now, where it gets a little bit weird is going to be some of the numbers here, and you'll see a little bit of fluctuation between DraftKings and FanDuel and what they have versus BetMGM. BetMGM is a little bit more different. That's the only way I can say. Now, basically what you're looking at here is Tank Davis being the favorite. He's minus 1,100 or minus 1,600. He's minus 1,100 through BetMGM. He's minus 1,600 through FanDuel and DraftKings. So obviously that's just the money line. It's just him winning no matter what method, what have you. So you have to put that money down, so 16 or 1,100 to win 100. Not the greatest of all numbers, but safe money. And at the end of the day, sometimes you're just looking for safe money. Yeah, not great numbers, but that's the money line there. Where it gets a little bit tricky for you going down the line in regards to how you want to put money on this fight may be just how some of the sports books actually have it. So personally, I do think Tank Davis is going to win the fight. I'm a little bit torn between him winning a unanimous decision or him getting a stoppage. Now, here's where that differs, and here's where the money can differ for you a little bit. A unanimous decision win, obviously, if you pick him for UD, and that's just if you pick that as a pick or, obviously past the money line, unanimous decision is going to run you anywhere plus 350 to plus 490 as we record this. So you can tell it's a little bit of a gap in between one sports book compared to the other. So like I said, plus 350 plus 490. So Real good number for that, him winning via unanimous decision. Now, also with that being stated, you have the over under rounds wise. You're looking at around minus 110 to minus 125 of the fight going over 7.5 rounds. I know BetMGM had it being at 9 rounds. So there's a little bit different. So every sportsbook's going to be a little bit different from that. So if you like Tank to win via stoppage, via KO, that's going to be anywhere from minus 350 to minus 400. Again, you got to put that down and win $100 back. So what you're looking at possibly is a fight build pick build. I think I had that backwards. Yeah, pick build. Here for the fight is you could go. Again, this word gets a little bit weird for me. You could go the over in regards to rounds at the 7.5. The 7.5 on more sports books, like I said, if it's not on others, that's where it gets sketchy. Because I do think Tank could get a stoppage. I'm about to call him Stank. Tank could get a stoppage. So if you can combine that with him winning via KO at the minus 350 or minus 400, yeah, it's pretty good. The unanimous decision does actually sound a little bit sexy to me, though. And I think Garcia is actually a smart enough fighter who's going to give Tank some trouble early on. Just how much can he maintain the pressure he can put on Tank? How much of the pressure can he take from Tank? And I think that's going to be the biggest caveat in regards to this fight, is how much of the pressure can he take from Tank in the fight. I think he can win the early rounds. Tank maybe figure out where he's going to come from, figure out some things with him, lose a couple rounds, and then maybe pour on the pressure as the fight builds and goes on. That's where it gets tricky for me. If you like Garcia and if you really think he can pull this win off, you're looking at some really phenomenal numbers here. The money line for him is anywhere from plus 650. Again, BetMGM is very weird with that. To around 800, 820 in the other sports books, just for him to flat out win. Just no matter how he wins, he wins. Unanimous decision for him is anywhere from plus 1,200 to plus 1,400. Real good money there as well. If he can pull off the inevitable, not inevitable, the impossible of scoring the knockout, you're looking at plus 1,600 to plus 1,800. Really crazy number there. I don't think any of those are actually possibilities for this fight this time around. I don't see that. So I don't see a draw either. The draw money is really good as well. That's 2,200 upwards to 2,600. I don't see this fight being a draw or anything weird like that. I see the fight ending somehow, some way. It's going to actually get a clear winner. So here's what I'm going to tell you to do, or here's my pick for you. If in fantasy world, if we're picking stuff here, I'm going to would go with a Tank Davis stoppage under 7.5 rounds for the win. So that's going to be my pick. Under 7.5, Tank Davis stoppage. I honestly feel, though, it's going to be more 8 rounds than 7.5. And again, that's where it gets dicey. So you actually want to check what sports books are offering what in regards to that. Now, the undercards here, I don't have all the odds for because, quite honestly, the favorites are the favorites by wide margins. And that's 3 fights in particular, and 3 fighters in particular I want to discuss, and that's Boots Ennis, Rashidi Ellis, and Demetrius Boo Boo Andrade. Now, for Boots Ennis, or Jaron Ennis, he will be listed in a lot of sports books. He's facing a Karen Chahakazanine. I don't know. He's a European fighter. He's fought a majority of his fights over in Germany. He is, 21-1, 11 KOs. Not a lot of punching power. Boots Ennis here, undefeated, 29-0, 27 KOs. This should be a stoppage win here for Boots Ennis. As far as what rounds, I don't know. Safe pick, just picking via stoppage. I don't see him making this fight go the distance. Boots via stoppage for this. Now, the next one here the next two actually get a little bit tricky in regards to methods of victory. Rashidi Ellis versus a Rahman Villa, who Villa is 25-1, 24 KOs. I don't think he's as much of a pushover as I think some think. I think he's actually going to make this fight competitive. Rashidi Ellis is 24-0, 15 KOs. Good power, not one punch power, KO power. Good hand speed. So this is why I think this fight is going to be a little bit more competitive than I think a lot of people are thinking. I actually feel this is going to be more of a unanimous decision win for Ellis. So that would be my pick there. As far as parlay building, Ellis for the win, going the full distance via decision. Now, Demetrius Andrade, he's going to be facing Damian Nicholson. Excuse me, I keep calling him Nicholson. Now, Nicholson's, I don't want to say claim to fame, but the last time a lot of boxing fans seen him on a large platform, he was actually going the distance with one Edgar Berlanga. And that's, if you remember, Edgar Berlanga was having the KO streak and was stopping guys at, stopping them all first rounds and what have you. Him going the full distance here and didn't get stopped. So he is a durable guy. So I don't look for Andrade to stop him. Another thing in regards to Demetrius Andrade is Demetrius Andrade has a tendency to play with his food. What I mean by that is we've seen Andrade have lesser opponents and he seems to fight down to their level. Instead of getting them up out of there in a faster fashion, he's just kind of dilly-dallying around in there and kind of going through the motions. And it makes it hard to watch his fights, quite honestly, and to root for him because it's like, dude, you got a lesser opponent. Get this shit over with, get him up out of here, and he's not doing that. And I kind of have a feeling this may be this kind of the same scenario here. Now, yes, does he want to make a splash now fighting under the PBC umbrella? He's wanting some of these bigger names. Sure, he may go out and be a little bit more aggressive, but I don't think Nicholson's just going to be a pushover here for him. So Andrade will win, but Andrade via unanimous decision. So if you want to parlay and pick these three guys together, Jaron Ennis, Boots Ennis that is, stoppage, Rashidi Ellis, UD, Demetrius Andrade, UD. Those are the picks there. There are some other fighters and other fights on the undercard. There's actually a crap ton of fights here on the undercard. I don't know if all those fights are going to be on most major sports books, so definitely check with your sports book of choice and see who's on there. But you got Lamont Peterson, Anthony Peterson, Vito Malnicki, Karan Davis, Brandon Lee. So you've got other fighters that you can choose from and maybe even add those on there, quite honestly. All those fighters I name, they should all win their fights. They're all favorites there. As far as their methods go, I haven't delved too much into their opponents and what have you. A little bit surprised by Lamont Peterson coming out of retirement and fighting on this card. What he has left, I don't know. We'll see come fight night. But to recap here before we go, Tank Davis, stoppage, under 7.5 feels good. Parlaying, Rashidi Ellis, Demetrius Andrade winning their fights via UD, while Boots Ennis actually gets the stoppage. So go with those three and see what happens. So with that being stated, let me know. Comment here below down here. And also hit the like button down here. And let me know what you think of these fight picks. And let me know if you do any good here with this advice that I'm giving you in regards to fights. For those who've known me and doing the podcast, I know my boxing somewhat. But I love my gambling. So boxing and gambling go hand in hand to me. So I hope you guys do well. But again, this is for entertainment purposes only. Can't stress that part enough. So leave your comments below. Hit the like button. Subscribe and share. Tell a friend to tell a friend. And we'll be doing more of these here as more boxing events happen here in 2023. With that being stated, everyone stay safe, stay blessed, and safe gambling. Till next time, I'm Brandon, and I'm out.